go. You can go away. Let's go to... Oh, why is caps locks on? Gotta D... Here we are. So a perchance generator is technically just a big random... Oh, this doesn't scale properly. Hold on, I gotta fix this. There we go. And this is very large at the moment. Perchance is technically just a coding website that allows you to create a random generator in it. But because it accepts HTML, you can do very fun things with it. Let me go ahead and hit edit so you can see more of it in one go. So I have the title up top. I have this section here, which shows off the images, and then this is going to where all of the data for the local information is going to be. I have a card section down here that isn't very well optimized. You can see I have way too many buttons, but if you open one of the boosters of the playing cards that are available in Digimon World 3, it will generate the cards you pull. Currently, only the program cards are in it, and I'm still working on getting... Oh, you can't see the hover. The stream won't show the hover. Okay, hold on a second. This will be a screen capture then. Let's do a display capture. Okay. For this. Scroll all the way down. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Hang on. Hang on, chat. Let's hide you. Properties. Automatic. Primary? Nope. There we are. All right, and let's lower this down so that it actually is the right size. Okay, so now the hovers. There we go. All right, yeah. So a lot of information I put into hovers or tooltips, so then it's not covering up the screen. So I've only done the program cards. There are Digimon cards in each pack too, which I haven't inputted. Each of these files have to be hosted somewhere, and then I have to post the hyperlink into the code for it to work. So for example, this image right here, this is the standard background for the map, which you can see over here in the section called BG data URL equals. And then I have these brackets, which says, hey, when you call this information, go to this part of the code and use that data. So graphics.mapgraphics.bg background. I'm going to fold this so that it all collapses. We go down to the lowest one, which you can't see right now, which is graphics. And I have a whole bunch of them, but I have item graphics, I have digi graphics, I have the card graphics, and then I have the button graphics. Here we are, map graphics. So, for example, up here, BG data called for graphics.mapgraphics.bg background. So we go down to here, we have map graphics. Then on an inset, we have BG background, and BG background is this URL. So that is what this calls up whenever it loads. It goes from here and then it zips down there, grabs that, and slaps it up here. The thing is, right? When you click with an interactable, you can change a tag. I have numerous tags here. I have the city tag, I have the shop tag, and I have the sector tag, right? If I pull up this section of code, because this is like this is the regular HTML. This is what is actually styling this screen. Like all of this is just data that I can call from. This is where I code the HTML to make this look pretty, okay? So I have the buttons, right? Button on click, sector equals central. So when I click the button that says central, it will change this sector value to equal the word central. And then later in the code, I have outputs that change depending on what sector equals. So in this case, region output, which is where this image is, right? When it first loads and sector equals 0, I want to display this image. However, if I were to press the button to change sector to central, I want to display something else. And using these tags, I can have multiple things change at once. So not only will this image change, but elsewhere in the code, this data will change. So if I hit central, it changes to a map of central. And also, it populates it with a button, which is elsewhere in this code, for each individual location in the central sector in the game, right? So if I hit central and then I hit Osaka City, it displays the data for Osaka City. And I'm currently working on coding in all of the NPCs. If there is a battleable tamer in the game, I am including the name of that tamer and who's on their team. Currently, I'm using a generic graphic from Digimon Dawn to represent tamers, but I'm going to have something more bespoke later. Also, I have the Digimon NPCs. So these are the shopkeeps currently. So I have the Armory, run by Gargomon. I have the Pawn Shop, run by Gomamon. I have the Item Shop, run by Wizardmon. And in Osaka City in particular, there's actually a secret hidden shop for the Heavy Armory. I'm using the Gargomon graphic here now, but it's more of a test thing. What's interesting is that these are all buttons as well. So if I want to pull up the data for the armory in Osaka City specifically, I hit the Gargomon, and it only sometimes works. The page's error is because there's no image for these in the system yet, but it pulls up the accurate shop list for that area in the game. So there's a wakizashi katana, there's the leather glove, a dagger, a bamboo spear, a longbow, and these are all the descriptions that are in the original game. Now, this is the part that's taking the most amount of time. I'm not surprised you're using Gargomon for your. I'm surprised you're using Gargomon for your hold sprite and not Bearmon. Gargomon is the hold sprite simply because Gargomon is used so frequently. Pardon me. I have to input each graphic specifically, and I've been focusing on the encounterables. Player-only Digimon, I'm going to have to seed among this after I finish the actual core game stuff. Currently, for the most part, this generator is true to the game. So if I hit Central Park, right, it shows you all the Digimon that you can encounter in Central Park, including their level, their data type, what Digimon families they relate to, and what they drop, and also who sprited them. So like all of these are by Zabub Al-Zemekiel, who made these sprites back in like 2002, 2003. These are all like classic Digimon fandom pixel art that I'm using. I also have what you can find while you're fishing, right? All of this is relative to the official game. Let's see here. Let me go to East Protocol Ruins. So you can see in like this place, I just have the text Black Mega Gargomon. I do not currently have the sprites for Mega Gargomon up because I'm still working through. Let me show you actually in the code what each one looks like, right? So I have the graphics section. Oh, let me scroll this up. The graphics section, I have the Digi section, all right? I have to make an entry for each individual Digimon, and each one of those has to link to an image which is being held on my server. On my this is a bit of a spoiler, but I'm working on a bespoke website for the Digimon comic that I'm making, so that if anything happens to Comic Fury, I have a backup of it. And I'm also using that space to host the graphics for it, right? This is just to get these images to pop up, okay? If I go up to the actual information, because like all of this information, the name, the virus, the type, all of this has to be coded in. So if I go up to the actual blank Digi section, this is the stat block for Kunemon. Name equals Kunemon. Image equals graphics.digi.kune. Level equals rookie. Drop equals nothing. Type equals virus. Family equals nature spirits jungle troopers. This is the code that I use to actually populate these, right? So let's use this as an example. Protocol Ruins has Baronmon, okay? If I were to go to region.central sector, or it would be east sector, I go down to Protocol Ruins, Protocol Forest, Diamonds Lake. Where is it? I've lost it. Here we are. Here's the Protocol Ruins stat block, okay? So Protocol Ruins, image, none right now, there will be an image up here. Encounter, digi.baron.encounter, digi.goburi.encounter, digi.minotaru.encounter. So when this populates Protocol Ruins, I say, here are all the encounters. Because I'm going to need to have these encounters appear in multiple places, I don't hard code them here. Instead, I scroll all the way back up past the region section to the digi section, and then I find the stat block, and here is where I write the stat block. I only want to write this once. The stat block says, create this image with the URL being this, right? digi.kune.image. So it says, when you make this image, use this URL, and then the code bounces it around until it gets to where I've actually put the URL. Title, which is what creates this drop-down thing, equals the name, a break, the level, a break, the type, a break, the family, which is all of this, the drops, which is this, and then the sprite credit. Coding is so cool, but also so scary. Yes, the ideal scenario is where I only have to write something once, and then I can use these functions, these brackets, to call it every time I need it. Unfortunately, I have not found a simple way to write all of this and then just insert the name of the Digimon. So I have to recode this encounter code every single time. Also, because not all of these graphics, the thing about coding is that, like Gadda said, you want to be as lazy as possible. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's also issues where pure HTML doesn't render properly in the perchance generator unless you do something funky. For example, this backslash here, right? If I'm going to put an image, let me see if I have an example. Yeah, okay. So this here says style / equals, right? The style tag is how I edit whatever the thing I'm editing is. So the image, the height is auto, the URL is this, okay? Over here, I have a divider that I want to style as well. I don't want to style it for the same reasons, but I still want to style it. You'll notice there's no backslash. That's because the equals sign means something different in this window than it does in this window. So I'm using the same HTML, but I have to also do some slight fuckery to make it render properly over here versus over here. Yeah, so this is what has been keeping my attention for a while. The good news is, right, so currently the sector tag is set to east. It sometimes forgets tags, unfortunately, so I have to redo it. So east, Seiryu City. This is a little fucked up because the data is still over here. I haven't fixed it yet, but Protocol Ruins, there we go. Protocol Ruins. All right, the tags get confused, and I'm still working on making the refresh sync up. So let's do Central, Asuka City, Central Park. All right, well, now that I want to show it to people, it's really fucking up. Central Park, it shows the image over here and all of the data over here. Plug Cape, that one worked. Shows all the data over here, the image over here. Shell Beach, it fucks up. Image, data. Wire Forest entrance. Image, data. The only reason I'm doing any of this, the reason I went down this rabbit hole is because I want my silly self-insert Digimon fan comic to be as game accurate as possible, so that when I introduce something that is not in the game to anyone who is familiar with Digimon, it is obvious that it is something that I am adding. Also, like, approximately like chapter 3 or so is when I'm going to start adding in textual changes to the game world that the individual characters are going to become aware of and be able to interact with. At the early point in the story, like, there's MMO stuff that I'm inventing, because Digimon World 3, although it takes place in an MMO, is a first-person, a single-player RPG on the PlayStation 1. But I want most of the encounterable Digimon and whatnot to make sense, so that when the world that they're isekai'd into start to be more real, and you have things like Digimon migrating, Digimon traveling, things showing up where they wouldn't normally be because, like, a sentient Digimon moved it, it makes more sense that those things are to be considered weird or concerning to the characters in that game. I think that's pretty much all that I have to show about this. I have not... The information on this side for the syntax error... What syntax error? Paildra is undefined. Ah, right. I have the code for digi.paildra, but I haven't actually coded the digi.paildra stat block, so when it tries to look for that information, it goes, hey, buddy, your shit's fucked. And then I have to go... The cool thing is, though, right? So an error has occurred near line number 4732. You'll notice these numbers over here. So I can literally just go to 4732. It'll take a minute. I probably should have minimized this, but whatever. 4,000, 4,000. It's in region. 4546. 4,732 calls for digi.paildra.encounter, but I haven't coded the digi.paildra stat block yet, so it goes here, says, okay, I'll go find that and then use that information, and then it can't, and then it goes, buddy, pal, you gotta help me out here. The cool thing is an error has occurred. Yeah, basically. The cool thing is an error has occurred. Is it possible to host this locally instead of on the internet, like for personal use only? That was my initial purpose with this. I wanted to be able to have all the image files in a folder on my computer, and then the perchance generator would refer to them. However, the way perchance is coded, for a safety measure, it does not allow downloaded perchance files to interact with local files, which makes sense because you could very easily code something malicious and essentially like have it scrape someone's computer and then send it off to like a different location. So to prevent that from being a security risk, perchance is made specifically not to allow for that. Using my own personal server is a workaround. I haven't looked into it, but I'm thinking if I have like a local separate file and I have perchance call to it through my router, that might work. But again, like there's safety measures, so I don't know if perchance will allow for that. Also, finding information is fucking difficult because the only community that still exists is on fucking Lenny, which is a Mastodon-based thing. And like everyone who was interested in it moved over. Oh, but having perchance on the computer instead of online. Oh, yes. No, that's not a problem at all. Actually, you'll notice in the URL, it says perchance.org/Gadda DMW3gen edit, okay? I have a settings thing that allows me to duplicate it to this URL, make it private, or download it. So if I download it, it is saved All right. I then go into... Where are my downloads? Well, my downloads are being a piece of shit, apparently. But if I go into my files, don't tell anyone this is how I live. Don't look at the state of my download folder. Don't anyone look at my shit. Oh God, the spaghetti, it's spilling everywhere. Oh God, no. But yeah, so I now have an HTML file which opens up, and you'll see it now says users. My name is Gadda, downloads Gadda Daemon 3 4, because I've downloaded this 4 times. This is a perfect copy of this, only the code exists on my computer as opposed to in the cloud here. And I can even edit it, supposedly. I've been having a hard time making the edit function work, which is why I'm still working on it on here. Can I make it reference local files? No, that is what I'm saying. I can have the generator's code on my computer, and I can have it open up as an HTML file, but because of the way perchance is coded, I cannot currently have it reference local files unless I completely recoded how perchance works, but I don't have the know-how to do that. So that's where I'm at on that. I would like it to be a completely local thing, so that then I can make changes and move files around to my heart's content. But currently, that is not what I am doing. That's not what I'm able to do, unfortunately. Tegan says, Gadda, let me in your downloads folder. I can fix it. I mean, if you think my downloads folder is bad, you really don't want to see my documents folder. You really don't want to see my documents folder. Don't worry. I know where everything is. I know where everything is. How's my pictures folder looking? My pictures folder is squeaky clean, believe it or not. Videos. Yeah, not a whole lot here. But if you then go into my my external hard drive. Yeah. But don't worry. I know where everything is. I promise you. I promise I know where everything is. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. My desktop's not much better, actually. My desktop also has a bunch of random shit on it, so, you know. I know I don't like I go in and organize your high tell test as a joke, but Jesus, this is who I am as a person, Tegan. This is who I am as a person. Do I have anything fun that I can show off? I have a bunch of sprites that I still need to edit. No, I don't think I have much of anything interesting to show off here. Nope. Y'all use your documents folder? See? Yeah. The interesting thing, actually, you'll notice when I move the windows, is that these things scale. These are flex dividers, actually. So if we go into the code, so this div is a flex container class, which means it'll zoom and scale based on how big the window it's in is, right? And inside those flex containers are flex children. Okay? Each flex child, how do I describe this? So like this entire section, all of this is one flex container, right? Right? So imagine this whole thing is a big square, okay? Anything that's in it is going to scale to match the size of that square. You'll notice, however, there are 2 squares within this square because these squares are called flex children, right? The flex children know that they have to scale to match the flex container, but also that they're sharing space. So they will attempt to equilaterally share the width and height of their mother flex container. Okay? If I were to add a third flex child, you know what? Let's just do that right now, just because I can. Let's just do flex child. We'll call it the same thing. we'll add it. Let's see here. Okay, so first of all, I need you to understand opening and closing bits, right? So this more than symbol div, this is an opening bit. All of the code between this and the closing bit is part of the same thing, right? So, well, actually, it'd be this div actually. So let's actually close all of this. I think that's right. Maybe I got it wrong. Anyway, there needs to be a closing div for every opening div, and everything in between them is part of that div, okay? So I have two divs, town, I have the sub buttons. So after... I'm getting lost because I have divs among divs. Oh no, here's second flex child. Okay, all right. So this is where the next flex container starts. So if I were to go here, all right, and I'm gonna add a new empty flex child. I'm gonna close it as well. It now shares the space among three. Line 14's div is closed. Thank you, Rocky. I have a hard time keeping track of that shit. Honestly, I mostly just jam code in, and then when it fucks up, I'm like, okay, well, what did I fuck up? And then I go check it, I'm like, ah, that's what I fucked up. And then I do the exact same fuck up the next time I have to do that code, all right? So, like, you can see there's now three of them, and they're all sharing space, okay? Technically speaking, right, the white background and the border of this, right, is a style that I have attached onto a flex child. So this flex child has the style border 5 pixels, inset black, background color white. Okay? If I go down here, you will notice that I styled an entire div called card section. And in that div, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I have a flux container. So instead of showing this background behind it down here, this is 3 different flex containers, or 1 flex container and children. So these cards is 1 flex container. So the cards are always equidistant. Thank you for the applause. The starters and the boosters are themselves 2 separate flex children within a flex container, but all of these flex containers are within 1 big container, which is where the background is, so it appears to be a single thing. If I were to add a button or remove a button, it would just alter the space so that both the starter buttons and the booster buttons have their own sections. I can't click the starter buttons because I haven't done anything with them, so it's all undefined. And some of the code still goes back to when I was using Imager and before I realized, oh, I'm going to be doing a lot of this shit. So I have to, like, switch it over. Phew. There is still a randomize all button from back when this was a basic perchance generator. I should probably remove that. But let's see what happens when I click it. It just randomizes everything. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right. So let's go back into this code and undo things until it gets fixed. There we go. I haven't done anything changed. I haven't done any changes, so I'm not going to save it. I'm going to leave it as it is. There is a backups option where if I leave without saving and I come back, it will attempt to be like, hey, here's that code you wrote but didn't save. Do you want to use that or no? But it's broken because all the dev's use is going towards adding an AI shit. Which, by the way, there's an AI chat button in bright orange, and there's a feature that I hate that has AI predict, where it forces code to exist after you start typing. It's so fucking shit. I hate it so much. It's bullshit. Fucking bullshit. But anyway, let's go to full screen. Currently, the flex is... The flex files are so big that they take up the entire screen. I I haven't figured out a way to code them so there's a minimum and maximum size yet, and this is shit to look at on mobile. This is like this is not worth it on mobile. Eventually, I want to be able to have a static size to match my display, because again, I'm using this for me. I'm not doing this for the public. This is entirely for my purposes. And the ocean still doesn't currently work. There's no image for it just yet. North, east, west, south. Also, I haven't said anything about this yet, but mad props to Wikimon. And in particular, a handful of people who in this last like 6 months have got like a bee in their bonnet, and they've been slowly updating the Digimon World 3 section with like actual data. The Digimon World 3 section of Wikimon has sat mostly empty for 2 decades. It is wild that they have finally people have decided, they're like, you know what, yeah, let's work on this. Let's work on this and put this data in there. So like all of this stuff, this is not my writing. Well, part of it is my writing actually, but like most of the information here is taken straight from Wikimon. I'll paraphrase it to stuff that I need to know later on. After I finish getting the code work in for all of the base game stuff, I still have to do the item data and the shop data, and then I think I'm actually gonna be done. I mean, obviously I have to like get all of this stuff working, right? I have to get like graphics here and then the data here. Like that's gonna take a hot minute. After that, I have to start working on the player-facing code, because not every Digimon that is an encounterable thing you fight is a thing that you can digivolve your Digimon into. So there's like 200 Digimon that are not in the encounter lists. And I have to code them into my code and then decide where in the world to place them. I will officially no longer be working off of like the canon game. And that's going to be a whole thing on itself. And because of the Neopets debacle, I'm kind of taking a break from this. This is a good-ish stopping point. I'm going to be whacking at getting the graphics for the locations in and making sure the graphics for the Digimon themselves are in. But aside from that, this is where I'm kind of coming to a stopping point. Because now I have to write a big-ass tell-all blog post about the Neopoints debacle, which, yay. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. And now that I've exhausted all that, I'm going to go take a break and make myself lunch. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys had a wonderful time.